Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Escape Pod. Thank you for escaping with us. That's Andrew, and I'm Alex.
And as always, with great power comes great wavelengths ability.
Yes.
What number are we on? How many times has he asked? We have someone in our Discord who has asked us to play wavelengths. I think he's at the 40 mark.
Yes.
He's asked it 40 days in a row. He's asked us to play.
The last one I saw was 39.
Yeah.
So I think
we're right in that range.
range.
So we will be playing wavelengths later on in this episode.
Yes.
We're going to be ranking Phase 2 of the MCU.
Yes, we will be.
We're going to be...
We've got a funny trivia challenge that you guys are going to like for him.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that is, but we're going to start with High-Low Buffalo.
Of course, yeah.
Hit it.
You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, great. So all of my High-Low Buffalo, it's got a little Disney theme.
Okay, I like that.
recently went to Disney World, so did you.
I did.
So we could talk a lot about this.
Let's do it.
So my high is all of the amazing people that came up to me at Disney to say hi, that they like the podcast. Special shout out to Joseph, who came up to me and shared some personal stuff and everything like that. But all of you guys, and please, make sure you're following us on Instagram, because I was posting that I was there. That's how some people found us. And, pretty much anytime we're in a cool or public place, we post about it.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to this movie, or we're at Comic-Con, or this or that. So make sure you're following us on Instagram. But yeah, the amazing... how kind you guys look. The messages, we can't get enough of them, and we love them so much. But when you guys come up to us in person, it really, really, really makes our day. And it's a much cooler experience for us than you think.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple people came up and they were like, "Hey, is it okay?" And you made my day. So it was awesome. It was awesome sharing that with you guys. And so just thank you guys all for the endless love and support. My low, Disney adults.
Yeah.
They take the fun out of Disney.
I disagree.
I have a specific example, and this is going to get me in a lot of trouble.
Okay.
Rachel
She's a Disney
was
adult?
frustrating me
the
whole weekend.
Uh-oh. Explain.
This is this thing, and it's from 1977, and this and that. Shut the
Let
up.
people enjoy things.
I don't care.
Let them enjoy.
It took a lot of the experience away from me.
Trash.
How often Rachel was like, "Look at this magic band. I can wave it in front of this character and it plays music." Shut the fuck up. I don't care.
You don't want to know about that?
We're in Soarin'. In Soarin'. I've been on Soarin' a million times. And it's a big Epcot ball and then the fireworks. And she goes, "Look, Hidden Mickey." I'm like, "No shit.
That one's too easy.
No shit."
There's a better Hidden Mickey earlier when the hot weather balloons.
I don't care.
Okay. All right.
I don't
Did you write Figment?
I don't know.
Figment, the little imagination thing?
I don't think so.
There's a Hidden Mickey in there.
I don't care.
There's also one right when you get off the ride.
I don't care. I don't care about any of this. And
Okay, I'll give you this. Some Disney adults that go over the top and are obnoxious, like if they're screaming happily ever after the entire time where you're trying, those
that's
people
not
are
Rachel, thankfully.
Yeah,
but
those people.
Every single ride, she had something to say about it, about the history. I don't care. I don't care in the slightest.
That's fair.
Please shut the
You didn't find any of it interesting? Was she having a good time?
She said a couple things that I actually was like, "Oh, that's interesting. I wish you only told me the interesting stuff."
Was she having a good time?
Yeah, she had a great time.
Was that making you happy?
Yeah, of course. Okay. But yeah, so my original Buffalo was the heat exhaustion thing that I told you about a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
So I had to get a new Buffalo, and this is something I think we're gonna agree on. The ride design for Disney World, everything like that, how much better they are at making rides lately than even 5 to 10 years ago. I think it's unbelievable. The Avatar ride, I think, is the best ride I've ever been on in my life.
Yeah.
And like the new Guardians ride is spectacular. Obviously, Rise of Resistance is great. Obviously, you love the new Tower of Terror, the Guardians of the Galaxy one at Disneyland.
And Hagrid's is Universal, but yeah.
Yeah, the Incredicoaster, everything like that. And I just think back to like the roller coasters we were getting, like the new hip ones in like 2010 was like, I really like the Seven Dwarves ride, but it's a lot less.
Yeah, I don't.
Of an
that one's
experience.
so overrated.
The Expedition Everest, much less.
They're fun, but
is fun, but not Pandora. It's not Flight of Passage.
No.
So every single ride I went on, I was like, wow, man, they've really stepped up their game. Just wanted to shout out the Imagineers.
Yeah, no, they're doing great. And Universal is getting a third park.
I didn't know this.
So they have Islands of Adventure, they have Universal, and then in Orlando they're getting a third one, and it's going to have a bunch of different lands in it, as far as I know. It's going to have another Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
Holy crap.
As well as a resort that's Harry Potter themed. Like,
let's hope it doesn't crash and burn like the Star Wars one.
I don't think it's going to be $1,000 a night. And then they're doing like a Universal Monsters area, like classics, like Frankenstein, that kind of stuff. And then they're doing a DreamWorks land.
Wow.
With like Kung Fu Panda, like
How do you know about this? This is just widely knowledgeable.
I saw the TikTok. Unless I'm wrong. Unless I'm wrong. When I was down there in Universal, we were all talking about it because we looked it up and stuff. And they're also building some random theme park in like Oregon or something. Did you hear about this?
Universal is?
No, just like it's like an American themed. I can't, like Oklahoma. I can't. It's like out in the middle of nowhere. They're spending like millions upon millions of dollars on it. They have Disney Imagineers going out to work on it. It's going to be open in like 4 years.
That's dope.
It's supposed to be huge.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So
we'll go. So yeah, that's my high low Buffalo.
My turn.
Disney themed. Yep.
Okay, we got my high.
Yeah.
It's just general that we're back in LA.
Yes.
You know, we traveled a bunch.
Yes.
We're getting back into the swing of things. We've been back for like a week. This is the second podcast we're filming since we're back.
Yes.
We got a Patreon to do after this.
Yes.
You know, we're going to be, we're going to events again.
Yes.
Hanging out with friends.
Yes.
I'm streaming a bunch. That's been fun.
Yes.
We got the movie night with the patrons next week. It's a lot.
Yes.
It's so much. I'm very overwhelmed, but it's, we're diving back into it. So that's my high.
I like this high.
Okay.
Because you're right. The vacation was nice.
Yeah.
But at some point when a vacation gets a little too long, you're just like, I got to get back to work. I got to get back to work. I got to get back to work.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I get that.
My low is how low. Okay. Yeah. My low for the week is how low Blue Beetle's numbers are.
Yeah.
It's sad, but we expected this.
Yes.
But it's still sad because the movie's great.
This is something I'm glad you brought this up. This is something because this is going to come out in 2 weeks.
Right.
Right. Not this Monday, but next Monday. So by then we will really know how this movie did. And Elemental made more money internationally than Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Right? Like the movie grew legs because even though it initially did terribly, it grew legs because of word of mouth. Does that happen with Blue Beetle? And maybe we're putting out this video and half of our comments on YouTube are, you f***ing idiot. It's doing great now.
Yeah.
That would be great.
I doubt
So it's
it.
just about now. I
think
too.
Elemental has a better chance to have legs than this.
And it still didn't make that much money. It only made like $400 million.
Yeah. So that's my low. Go see it. It's fun.
Yeah.
DC fans, show up every once in a while. My Buffalo. We got a P.O. box, baby.
Yeah.
And this one's big.
Yes.
We can't always open everything we get from the P.O. box on the podcast.
Yeah, but when it's something this big and the sharp blue wrapping,
and
we'll
it's
make
still
it happen.
pretty new. We've got 2 things in here, I think.
Oh, how exciting. Oh, yes. Yes, I know exactly what this is.
Oh, this is the thing.
Yes.
From Discord. Y'all,
Yes.
join our Discord. This guy specifically
Yes.
made these for us.
Yes.
Oh, these are going to go on the set. Oh, wow. Okay, so this one's kind of for Alex, I guess. It's got a... Oh, dude, that's sick.
I know.
Classic Batmobile. So it's basically for audio listeners. There's a bunch of pictures and comic panels and stuff kind of put together
These
of Batman.
are cut from actual comics.
Welcome to the Escape Pod. This is Alex and Andrew, and today we have Soup's Ability. I'm not going to read all of this. To the Escape Pod, his name is Dante. He's from Ohio. I love your content. I made you guys these posters for either personal use or even for the pod room as decoration. Mine, Andrew's is just Spider-Man. Alex is Batman. Thanks for making a great community on TikTok and Discord. It's so fun to be a part of. A group who all love similar things. He almost cursed, and then he said PG for Andrew.
I like that.
I like that. If you don't mind messing with so we need to let him know that we got it. They are one of a kind custom posters made from real comic books. I try to make them feel as comic booky as possible and flashy and looking cool. All love from over here. His TikTok is all tabbed out, and his Discord is middle Z. So we need to let him know that we got it. Thank you so much. Oh, that's sick. Oh, he's got Spot on there.
Lizard.
Kingpin.
Sandman.
Oh, these are definitely going on the
Goblin.
set.
You know it's Norman because the waves.
The waves. Yeah. Yeah, these are sick. We'll definitely put them up. Thank you so much. And thank you for the handwritten letter.
Always.
Cool. You want to go ahead and, this guy's been waiting for Wavelengths long enough.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so the way Wavelengths works is we will randomly pick a number 1 through 10, and say Alex will know that number. I will then ask Alex, 3 questions I think we can do, of things like I will say, give me a movie, and if the number is 7, he has to give me like a 7 out of 10 movie, and we'll do...
Is that what that is? I thought it was just something that felt like a 7.
What is the difference?
Across the Spider-Verse
Would be a 10.
Okay. That's not what how I thought this game worked.
Explain the difference.
I thought it was something that felt like that number. So I would say Across the Spider-Verse feels like a 2. But obviously it's
What
a 10
does
out
that
of 10
even
movie.
mean?
I don't know. It just I get that when I think of that movie, like when you think of math, you think of the color blue. When you think of a horse, you think of the number 8.
Okay. Yeah, we're not going to be doing
Okay,
that.
no problem.
I mean, we can do a round of that
But
if
I
you'd
feel like we know each other's movie scores.
This is very difficult.
Okay.
I played this with my best friends and my family, and you're almost always like 1 number off.
Okay.
I mean, if you give me like really simple things, just like an MCU movie, we might be able to get it.
Yeah.
But you can come up with like, give me a part of the body that's a 7 out of 10. Like, you can get weird with it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. So, we need a random number generator.
Okay.
You will know the number first. So just ask Siri, give me a number 1 through 10. It won't say it out loud.
I've got the number generator right now.
All
All
right.
right, I've got my number.
You got the number?
Yep.
Okay. We're gonna go through 3. So just try to do these quick, but think about it. I want you to give me a Star Wars character.
Frig.
These are difficult. It's tough.
This is tough.
Especially when it's like in the middle or like, yeah. Like a 1 out of 10 and a 10 out of 10 are normally pretty easy.
This is freaking impossible. Sorry, I know we're trying to do this quick.
No, it's fine.
This is a high stress
No, it's tough.
situation.
Normally we take like a few minutes to think about each of these.
The pressure here, it's really cooking me.
You want to come back to this one?
No. Chiari Mundi.
Okay. I want you. Okay, I'll give you a semi-easy one. I'm just gonna do an MCU movie.
Iron Man 3.
Okay, I've got my range. This is tough though. Okay, last thing. I want you to give me something that's happened on the podcast. Or, in regards to the podcast, it could be like anything we filmed or done.
The shelf falling last episode.
Dang.
I regret one of these decisions badly.
Okay, I'm gonna give you my quick explanation. Then I'm just gonna give you my number because I just gotta go for it. Chiari Mundi, I know you have referred to him as not being a good general to the clones.
Yep.
And obviously he's not like a 7, 8, 9, 10, so he's going to be a little bit lower. Iron Man 3, you're a little bit lower on. So far I was like in the 5 range, but that's a little bit negative, and I know Chiari Mundi's a little bit negative, so I'm just going to go 4. Let's go, brother! Yeah! 1 for 1!
That was awesome.
Nice work.
Nice!
We're on the same wavelength, baby.
There we go. That was...
Woo! Kiss me?
That was...
Okay.
500 patrons, baby.
All right, let me see it.
Oh.
You got some stuff to give me?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I got my number.
Okay. All right. You ready?
Yep.
Movie that we've seen this year.
Okay. I need my list. Elemental.
Okay.
I might need to think about these a little bit longer, but I think that was a good one.
A basketball team from the NBA playoffs from this past season.
Who did we play in the semifinals before the finals?
The Celtics.
I'm going to say Celtics.
Okay.
But I don't know what that's doing for you.
I'm feeling pretty good, actually.
Okay.
I feel pretty good.
Okay.
MCU character.
Okay. We're going to go... Dang. We're going to go... Hawkeye.
Okay. 7.
Oh!
It was 8?
So close. It was 8.
8?
It was.
I had 8 the whole time.
I know. Did Hawkeye bump you down?
Yes.
Dang.
Because you're lower on the show.
Yes, but I put him up there because he's still on one of the original 6.
Yeah.
So I thought that would bump you up.
Oh, frig.
It's okay.
You gave me Black Widow, I would have said 8 for sure.
I was thinking, what would have Vision done for you? Would Vision have been lower even?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad I went Hawkeye then.
Yeah.
I was between those two.
Oh, frig.
It's okay. As long as we're within 1, I'm happy.
Okay.
But we could do better. All right, one more each. Let's try it.
Yeah, let's do it. I like this a lot.
Yeah. We might play this more on the Patreon and do wackier versions.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, you got your number?
Yep.
All right. I want you to give me a Star Wars quote.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Yikes. Okay, I don't think we need to do any more, but I'll give you one more. Should I give you this ammo? Actress based on hotness. So Gal Gadot wouldn't be...
Aquafina.
Yeah, okay, so this is a 1?
Yes. That's so
See,
bad.
1 out of 10s are easy.
Yeah, that was good. I liked that.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
I knew him. I was like, oh, we're good. We're good here.
So glad I gave you that. Okay, I have my number.
Cool. Oh. Okay, we're still good.
Okay. If we end on a win here, this would be great, but we'll see.
We went 3 for 4.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
What you got for me?
I'm asking you the questions.
Yeah.
I was waiting on you. Sorry. Okay. Star Wars movie.
Okay. Dang. Yeah, I always try to keep into account me and you.
Or you could just give me you.
Yeah, I know, but I'm going to start this with Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a good start.
Okay.
I don't want you to guess yet, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm feeling good about that.
Okay.
Give me a superhero.
Any superhero?
Yeah. And then I've got my next question, and I feel like if you answer the next question a certain way, I'm good.
Okay, I'm going to go... There's a few in my head. I guess I could just do the first one. Blue Beetle.
Okay. Give me an article of clothing. A shirt, a shoe, a pants.
Just like a gym, not like a specific one, not like my Spider-Man hoodie, but
yes,
just like okay.
Just anything that you wear, but very general.
Yeah. We're going to go socks.
7 out of 10. No? 6?
5. Socks are too high for you?
Yeah.
But you give Return of the Jedi a 6, right?
Yes.
So
I was thinking,
Then I was
should have gone Phantom Menace or something. You
I
should
know.
have gone a bad one because I was thinking, oh well, you like
I know.
Return of the Jedi. You probably give it an 8. I give it a 6, so 7. And then I thought socks is like such a you're like ooh comfy socks. Like
yeah, but
that's
socks
you,
is so just like middle of the
whatever.
road.
You're right. Yeah, I was waiting.
What did Blue Beetle? I was trying to bring you down with the superhero a little bit.
You
yeah,
didn't. You
I know.
You kept me.
Blue Beetle, of all superheroes ever, he's right in the middle.
Sorry.
Would Hot Girl have brought you down?
Yeah.
I almost did Hot Girl. But she's a Justice League member sometimes.
And she's Isabella Merced.
I know. It's tough. This game's tough.
This was tough.
I
had a much worse time than you.
That was an L. We were 2 off that time. That's not allowed.
Yeah.
It's all right. We'll play again if y'all want.
I'm just clearly much worse at this game than you.
Or maybe I'm worse at giving answers.
My opinions are just more
You
obvious.
throw off the gauge.
I do. I do.
Hey, we might play that more on the Patreon. That'd be fun.
That was
Speaking of the
fun.
Patreon, we have a $250 member we want to thank every once in a while, and her name is Cassidy Weathers.
I love you.
She's a legend. Thank you for being a $250. What was that, Deborah tier? No. That's
David
David Montgomery tier.
Yes, yeah.
And thank you to all of our other patrons as well.
And special thank you to Elor and Jordan.
Who were at one.
Exactly. We love you forever. And, obviously do not sign up to that tier.
Unless you can.
You can. Please don't.
Yeah.
But if you do, we do follow you on Instagram forever. And
Yes.
that's something that matters to a lot of people.
Yeah. And we'll thank you verbally in the podcast sometimes.
Eventually.
Yeah. We'll do it every once in a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are terrible. But we love you, Cass.
You want to hit me with some weird trivia? What do you got for me?
It's not weird trivia, but
I don't trust you.
everybody freaked out on TikTok because I'm Cuban.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Oh, gosh.
Obviously. Obviously, the reason I don't look Cuban, why I'm so white, my mother is from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
White as fuck. So that's why I look the way I do. But I am 50% Cuban, as is 90% of Miami. I feel like
Right,
everybody
yeah.
in Miami is 50% Cuban. So, but yeah. So those of you that were shocked, a lot of people were shocked that I'm Spanish, that I speak Spanish. So we're going to test your Spanish.
Oh, good.
We're going to ask you 10 words in Spanish,
Right.
and you are going to tell me what it means in English.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
You ready?
Uh-huh.
No.
No? Like N-O? It means no.
Correct.
Yeah!
There you go. You're off to a nice start. I'm starting easy.
Bilingual king.
There you go. Hola.
Hi.
There you go. How about this one? This is getting a little more difficult.
Okay.
Adios.
Bye.
There you go. Goodbye.
Okay.
There you go. You're 3 for 3. We're going to get a little bit harder here.
Okay.
I want claro.
Say it again.
Claro. C-L-A-R-O.
Is this a verb?
Not really. It's a response.
I have no idea.
The way most people say it is claro. Claro.
What's up?
No.
Dang it.
No. Of course.
Dang it.
So you are 3 for 4.
Okay. What's passing here? 5?
7.
Dang.
Querer.
What?
Querer. And so that's a verb. So if I said something, I would say yo quiero.
I want.
There you go. Want.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. How about a breed?
A breed?
A breer is like how it's spelled. A-B-R-I-R. A breed.
To open.
Bang.
Really?
Yep.
No way. You're lying to me.
That was awesome. Nice work.
You're trolling me.
I'm not. You are 4 for 5. You don't believe me?
I don't believe you.
I'll show you later.
I'm 5 or 6, aren't I?
I don't know.
Search that word on Google right now.
A breer.
I feel like you're just gonna be like, oh yeah, you got it right, regardless of what I say. Oh wow, I'm freaking awesome.
You're sick.
I'm.
No, that was impressive. I don't know where it came from.
I don't know either.
All right.
I took Spanish for like a
Here's
year.
an easier one. We're going to go amigo.
Yeah, friend.
Nice work. Yeah, now you're 5 for
Because
6.
tú es mi amigo.
Very good. That's pretty good. All right, now we're going to get a little bit harder. All right, you're 5 for 6. Now the next 4 are going to be tough. All right?
Yep.
Lluvia. Lluvia. Lluvia.
Lluvia.
Lluvia.
I need multiple choice. Forehead.
Rain. Not even in the ballpark. Do you know frio?
Cold.
Nice. Nice. What is it? You're 6 for 8.
Something like that.
Yeah. All right. These two I've been saving. Mariposa.
You're gonna give me a curse word, and I'm not gonna.
No, absolutely not. I would never do that to you. Mariposa.
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 Use it in a sentence.
Ese es un mariposa. Una mariposa. It's not anything in the room.
I was like,
I'm just
gun?
like, yeah. No.
We don't have a gun
It's-
off set.
It's a noun.
Thug.
Jesus Christ, it's a butterfly. Are you ready? This is a word I use a lot.
You didn't tell me the punishment.
I don't have a punishment for you.
You just can post something embarrassing on the Escape Pod
I'm just
podcast.
gonna post your ball sack.
Well, that's
How about okay? So I'm starting an OnlyFans at 600 patrons.
nope.
I am, not you. How about I get to post your balls on my OnlyFans?
No.
Okay. Here's the last one. This is a word I use a lot. You have definitely heard me use this. I don't think you've ever asked me what it means. So here we go. Let's see if you know this.
I could
Joven.
Yeah, you use that a lot.
Joven. I use it a lot. How do I use it? That's going to be your context clue.
I mean, yeah, it's like you tack it onto the end of sentences when you're talking to like your friends. So it's like homie, but that's not my guess. I'm gonna say brother.
That's good. Hermano is brother.
Darn.
Joven is young.
Have you explained this before? I feel like you mentioned this.
Maybe, but the way Spanish people greet each other is very what you are, right? So
Yeah,
everybody
you've
calls
mentioned
me
this.
flaco because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
skinny,
yeah.
or flaquito is what my grandmother calls me. Everybody, right? So gordo, fat is just gordo, right? If you're fat, that's what they call you. And so if you're young, vieja, oye vieja, that's what a lot of people call my grandmother. So I was like joven. So joven's young. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
Hoven.
Yeah, so there you go. You got 3 wrong. You absolutely passed. Or you got 4 wrong, but you absolutely passed.
Thank you.
Nice
Flaco.
work. That was good. I
That was
liked
fun.
that.
That was fun.
So what do we have after
I think we got
this?
some. We're just supposed to rank the phase two.
Phase 2?
And
Yeah,
we can
I've got this prepared to you.
Yeah, let's take our time with this
Yeah, of course.
and talk about each
What-
of these
what
movies.
time are we at?
We're like half an hour.
Yeah, no, but this is
Yeah, we're gonna
take
take
a
a
while.
minute. All right. So we're gonna go through. So we've ranked phase 1. We had some arguments there.
Yes.
for sure, because you lost your mind.
Yep.
And now we're gonna go through each movie. The way we're gonna do this is we're gonna go through each movie in order. We're gonna give our ranking out of 10 for
Yes.
each movie, and then once we go through all of them, then we'll like
We
kind
will
of
rank them
based on
exactly.
those numbers.
But we'll debate the movie when we're talking about the
Right.
movie. And we're talking about in order of release.
yeah. So there's gonna be Iron Man
Which
3.
means we're starting with Iron Man 3. Here's our scores for Iron Man 3, and here we go. We will talk about Iron Man 3 in 3, 2, 1.
7.
4 out of 10. Yeah, wow, you're way higher on Iron Man 3.
So
I do want to say, second biggest movie in this phase.
Mm-hmm.
It made $1.2 billion. It's one of the biggest movies in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
I think 99% of that, I'm sure you will agree, from Avengers 1. It came out 2 or 3 months after Avengers 1.
Yeah.
Following the success of Avengers 1, that's what's going to happen.
And it was the third Iron Man. People were loving Robert Downey Jr. Like, yeah, definitely Avengers helped. I think the first two Iron Mans helped as well. The reason I put 7, I could easily bump this down to a 6.5 or 6. I'm always just kind of in that range. Back in the day when I first watched Iron Man 3, I was easily like a 4 or 5 on it.
Yeah.
But I have watched it since then, and I liked it way more than I remember it. So I bumped it up. I might have bumped it up too much, though, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense.
Why is it so low for you?
So this is the thing. This is one of the only MCU movies I've never rewatched.
Yeah, I think you should.
I watched this once in theaters, and I really disliked it. And I probably gave it an even lower score at that time. And the only reason it's a 4 now is because I see clips and I'm like, oh, that's actually kind of funny. But I hated the Mandarin twist at the end.
Yep.
Even though I think he's quite good in Shang-Chi. But I hated the Mandarin twist. I do not like Aldrich Killian as a villain. I definitely didn't at the time. I think that the extremist and him screaming at the end, I am the Mandarin, and then getting hit, I thought that was dumb. I'm not nearly as infatuated with all the suits that a lot of people were when I was 13. And then the biggest thing that like has bumped it up since then is I see a clip from Iron Man 3 and I always laugh. I don't even want to work here. These guys are weird. Like,
Yeah.
There's like, I always see clips like that on TikTok and I'm like, maybe I should give this movie another chance. Because every time I see a clip, I think it's funny. And it is Shane Black who directed it, he's directed a bunch of movies I really like. So maybe I really do have to give it another shot.
I think you should. Here's why. I think it gets overshadowed by a lot of the ending stuff, like the Mandarin twist. A lot of people didn't like him blowing up all his suits for Pepper. That's really annoying. And then
because in the very next movie,
he has them all. It was a weird decision to kind of end his trilogy with taking his arc reactor out of his chest and blowing up all of his suits.
It's because they didn't know if he would come back.
Right. So I think it's overshadowed by that negative, which is I'm probably going to bump it down to a 6.5 or 6. But the good stuff in it, obviously Robert Downey Jr. is amazing. I went back and watched it, and that whole little bit where he doesn't have his suits, but he went to the hardware store and made gadgets and stuff and then infiltrated the thing. That was so cool, showing Tony Stark's
versatility.
Thank you, versatility. And then everything with Harley is great.
Yeah.
The scenes where Tony Stark is dealing with panic attacks, I think those are, like, Robert Downey Jr. acted those amazingly.
I remember being annoyed.
Right, but I think now, older, that never hit home for me at all. But then, like, Tony Stark having a panic attack and getting into his suit and being like, Jarvis, what's happening? Like, I got poisoned, because he's never had to deal with this. And Jarvis is like, I think you had a panic attack. And he's like, I don't do that. And then Harley talking about the New York attack and then being like, shut up, and like having to get out of the car and like sit in the snow. I think it's super compelling. There's bad in the movie. There's good in the movie. 6 or 7 is where I land.
Yeah, maybe I'll rewatch it and become the world's biggest Iron Man 3 defender.
Yeah, I just remember the first time watching it being like, wow, MCU doesn't know what it's doing anymore. That was terrible. And then watching it the second time being like, oh, that was actually kind of fun.
Yeah, see, I didn't get that feeling at all because I was unimpressed by most of Phase 1. Obviously, you love most of Phase 1,
right?
But yeah. All right, we're moving on to Thor, the Dark Thor.
Yep.
What are you giving this out of 10?
Ready?
Thor, the Dark Thor.
Thor, the Dark World, out of 10.
Thor, the Dark World, out of 10. 3, 2, 1.
7.
2 out of 10. Wow. Do you think you like Thor, the Dark Thor, better than Iron Man 3?
I have it basically equal.
Wow.
So Iron Man 3 I used to really dislike, and then I watched it again and I actually kind of was okay with it.
Yeah.
This might be the reverse.
Really?
I think if I watched Thor the Dark World, I might dislike it more than I originally liked it.
How many times have you seen it?
2 or 3, but it was always a long time ago. I've seen the entire Infinity Saga. I've seen every movie probably at least 3 times. And then I've seen some.
Wow, I have not.
Right. And I've seen the Avengers like 50 plus, right?
Yeah.
So I think this movie is widely overhated.
Yeah, you've always had that take.
I don't understand where people just got this idea that, like, I didn't know people had this that low until Infinity War. When I saw someone, I think it was like IGN or, BuzzFeed or something did like a ranking of all the movies before Infinity War, and they had Thor: The Dark World at last, and I was like, what? People don't like this movie? I think the relationship between Thor and Loki is awesome. I think the banter between them is hilarious. You just decapitated your grandfather. Very funny. The villain isn't like spectacular, but it introduces the ether. I think the death of the mom and Loki's reaction to that is hard. I think the action is good. Man, that's funny. I think there's a lot of good in this movie. It's not an 8, 9, or 10, but it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have much to say about this movie because this is another one I've only seen once. Mm-hmm. But how I was just telling you, every clip I see from Iron Man 3, I'm like, oh, maybe I'd like that. Every clip I see from this movie, I'm reminded that, this was a tough watch.
Is it just, like, why do people dislike it? Is it just slow?
It's really slow. There's, I could give you a bunch of reasons. It's a very dark shot movie.
Yep.
Yeah. Thor: The Dark World, yup. You know what I'm saying? It's just every shot is gray.
Yeah.
And dark gray. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big issue. It's that kind of movie is going to put somebody to sleep, right? I don't care at all for Natalie Portman in any of the MCU movies. She's obviously a big part of this movie. I think that this is the one where Darcy is the most annoying.
Yeah, maybe.
She was before Awkwafina, she was most people's pick for most annoying MCU character. Whether you agree or not, that's just the IGN list that had this last. That's just, and I think this is the movie that she's the most annoying. I think she's great in WandaVision, and that surprised me because I think she's really unlikable in the first 2 Thors, but I think she's worse in the second one. I think Selvig is one of the best characters from the Thor franchise, and he's worst in this movie because he's dealing with the ramifications of the mind control thing. Something, by the way, that I do want to point out. Selvig is established as one of the smartest people in the MCU, and Loki's mind control had a real fucking effect on him, right?
Yeah.
Hawkeye's brain power is not that of Selvig, and we do not see any ramifications for him. Just saying, there's little things like that the MCU doesn't have anywhere else.
I disagree. I think it's different kinds of mind power. I think Selvig is an intellect and Hawkeye is a secret agent that has dealt with mental anguish, and he can deal with being controlled. Okay. But he can't solve a equation about iridium.
Okay.
I think that's the difference.
But I've never been a fan of this movie. I've always been one of the people to put it at the bottom. But I've never thought it was the worst MCU movie because I think the worst MCU movie is The Incredible Hulk.
Right, that's fine. Again, I'm not putting Thor: The Dark World over a bunch of stuff.
Of course. But 7 out of 10 is your score for more of the MCU than not.
Right.
You gave Ant-Man Quantumania a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I think they're about the same.
That's my point. So that's fine.
I think Quantumania might be again, it's tough to rank these movies individually and then look at all 20 movies and be like, oh, I have to kind of compare the numbers to each other. There's a lot of movies can be 7 out of 10s, and I still prefer even within that. So, yeah, 7 out of 10 is my default if it's not actively bad, and I don't think Thor: The Dark World is.
No, yeah, and you've always had that take. I'm not surprised by it in the slightest.
But I am open and willing to watch it again and be convinced.
I would be fascinated to see the reaction, to see what other people think of Thor: The Dark World now.
After Love and Thunder?
Yeah, especially. Because a lot of people think Love and Thunder is the worst Thor movie. Obviously, you think it's Ragnarok, which is obviously the worst opinion you have. But, yeah, so I'd be interested to see. We'll get to that in Phase 3. You ready?
I'm ready.
La creme de la creme. All right, you ready?
This is Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Out of 10. 3, 2, 1.
9.5, yeah.
Yeah.
What a masterpiece.
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, gosh.
It's really good.
It's one of those that you watch it the first time, you're like, whoa. And then every time you watch it, it's just so fun.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. I saw a clip. Mm-hmm. There's some exposition in this movie. Mm-hmm. There's some real exposition in this movie. But I saw a clip the other day from this movie, and it was the Alexander Pierce Captain America conversation. Somebody murdered my friend. I intend to find out why.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get in my way. Like that. That's that conversation. A lot of exposition in that scene. Well, this is what's going on. Oh, this is what's going on. Oh, this is what's going on. But the actors, Robert Redford is so good.
He's so good.
And Chris Evans is so good. And the writing is so good that exposition scene is one of the most entertaining scenes in the whole movie. Another exposition scene in that movie. Zola computer scene.
Yeah.
All exposition, but it's awesome because he's a computer and he's got the accent and she's like, this got to be some kind of tape and I am not recording for all that.
Yeah.
Amazing. Acting, amazing. The writing, amazing. And that's why the exposition scenes aren't bad in this movie. Compare it to a modern MCU movie, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, where they have the Illuminati scene, which is just exposition, where we didn't lose Doctor Strange fighting Thanos. The biggest threat to the multiverse is you, Steven. And the way they explain it is so boring.
Yeah.
And the acting is so wooden. And nobody cares.
That's a great point.
Like, that's an exposition scene that they do now in the MCU versus a couple years ago. Exposition scenes are some of the best scenes in Winter Soldier. So that is the difference between a truly great MCU movie and like a mid or bad one, like Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, I mean, everything about this movie is good.
Yeah.
The opening on the Lemurian Star, where Captain America's just taking people out.
Yep.
And then he busts in and sees Black Widow. Well, this is awkward. It's funny. It's entertaining. It introduces Falcon in a great way.
Yes.
I think Fury's great. Obviously, Robert Redford does a great job.
Is a top 5 MCU villain for me.
Yeah, especially in terms of acting, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I was just kind of... You're not bored in this movie at all.
No.
And you're pulling for Cap, and the speech he gives at the end.
Yes.
And Peggy Carter... Not Peggy. Sharon.
Sharon, yep.
Was in there. Yeah.
So, I've got a question for you. I give it a 9 out of 10. You gave it a 9.5. What is your issue with this movie? Why isn't it a 10 out of 10?
It's just something like to get a 10 out of 10 for me. Like something has to just like absolutely just like melt my mind. Yeah.
Okay. So there's just nothing in this movie that is just 10 out of 10 worthy.
I mean that Bucky Cap fight is a 10 out of 10, and the writing is good, but there's nothing in there that makes me that blows me away writing or like character emotion wise, if that makes sense. But I don't have anything negative about it really. What's yours?
I'm gonna say something and you're gonna be bothered.
I'm sure I am. That's the point of the podcast.
I wish there were less or the fight scenes were shorter. I wish there was more dialogue. The spy stuff is the best. Every line in this movie is sharp, it's well written, it's funny, it's smart.
That's why it works. Because it's not bogged down by too much of it, and it's broken up by like amazing action pieces.
And I'm not saying there's bad action in this movie. The action is great. I am, yes, amazing. And it's shot well. Yeah. I will say the fight choreography leaves a little to be desired at some points when it's just Cap, because he has two options. He's got a shield or he's going to kick you. That's every single
dude, when he launches that guy on the
hilarious.
Boat,
when he kicks amazing.
Cave that guy's chest in.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing. It's so funny. But God, and this is one of the, like, there's not a lot of jokes, but this is one of the funnier MCU movies. The guy in the Apple store. Yeah. What are you guys doing? Hilarious. That's hilarious. Obviously, it's not your style, Rogers. And he's like, you're right. It's hers. Kicks him off. Hilarious.
Everyone needs practice.
Them making, and then he's like falling before Falcon saves him. And he's like, what about that redhead? And he's like, Lillian. Yeah. Lip piercing. Yeah. She's like, yeah, she's cute. And he's like, I'm not ready for that. Hilarious. Yeah, that hilarious. Is good. That is like, good. And them making out. Was that your first kiss since 1945?
It wasn't my first kiss since 1945.
Like, just really, really, really great stuff. Like, all throughout, and the characters and everything. I like that they don't date. Black Widow and Cap.
It really sets up the relationship. This is some of my friends. Like, I have someone that I know that Black Widow and Cap's friendship and relationship in the MCU is their favorite relationship in the MCU because this sets up for Civil War, Black Widow and his relationship where she shows up to the funeral and she's like, I just didn't want you to be alone. And then in Endgame, when they're the only ones left at the compound, slicing the peanut butter sandwich and having that conversation, it kind of sets it up for this friendship that keeps showing up and is good, and that really is cemented in this movie.
Yep.
No, it's great.
It's really good.
And we haven't even talked about Bucky.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yes.
Which is why you shouldn't skip all of Phase 1, because you wouldn't know who the heck Bucky is and why this movie is so great unless you watch the first Captain America, which is also a great movie. The reveal of Bucky is great. Bucky.
Were you surprised in the theater?
No, because
Okay.
I knew.
Okay.
I knew stuff.
Yeah.
But
I know somebody that didn't know.
blew him away.
Blew their fucking mind. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
The first reveal of him, that chase scene,
Amazing.
boom, catches
Amazing.
it.
And we're not even talking. Nick Fury is spectacular in this movie. God, Nick Fury.
Oh my
so
gosh,
good.
this has the line till the end of the line.
Yeah.
And finish it.
Yes.
Bro.
Yes.
I say that to like my friends. I'm with you
Yes.
till the end of the line. Oh,
Yes.
this movie's great.
It's so good. And him going to the museum and the kid, and so good. Every scene in this movie.
And Stan Lee.
I'm gonna get
Fired.
fired. For this one. So good. It's so good. It's a top 5
Did
MCU
I step
movie
on your
for
moment?
me.
Black Widow.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yes.
That reveal.
Mission Impossible, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
You've got to keep both eyes on the prize, or whatever. Both eyes open.
So good. It's so good. Oh,
Fun, good, fun movie.
frig.
I mean, top 5 of the MCU for sure.
Yes. Where do you think it ranks for you?
I think it might be second. Wow. It's after the Avengers. I think it goes Avengers.
Wow,
Winter
so
Soldier.
Avengers is your only 10 out of 10 MCU movie? I don't have any 10 out of 10 MCU movies. I just want to preface that. But so
Probably.
Avengers 1's your only 10 out of 10?
I don't have many 10 out of 10s. Period. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Okay.
all right.
Yeah, you didn't give Spider-Verse 10 out of 10.
I probably would if I was choosing 10 out of 10s, but I'm just so protective of that. Like,
And-
I have to live with a movie for like years for it to like mean enough to me to be like, okay, I'll give you a 10 out of 10.
We're keeping it going.
We're keeping it going, baby. You ready for this? Next movie in Phase 2.
Well, Guardians of the Galaxy 1,
Yep.
3, 2, 1. 9
9.
out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Yes. So, I do have problems with this movie.
Okay.
But it's masterful.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm getting chills thinking about it.
Just the fact that like everyone was going into the movie like, who the frick are these guys?
Yep.
And then when you come out, you're like, I love these guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's so heartfelt.
Mm-hmm.
You can make the argument it's the most heartfelt MCU movie. It's obviously one of the funniest MCU movies.
Yeah.
It was so fresh and new at the
The
time.
music and the comedy really carried. And it just it was fresh.
I mean, I wouldn't say carried, but it just enhanced.
I mean, yeah, enhanced.
I think the Quill opening is so compelling.
It just expanded everything.
And then, obviously, the Quill singing opening is also amazing and hilarious and makes you love this guy immediately.
One of the best positives I can say about this movie is it does not drag for a second. I don't think it drags at all. It goes from that to him trying to sell the orb to introducing Rocket and Boom, and then they're in the prison. Then you got the prison escape, and then you're introducing Ronan.
It's very well paced.
Yeah.
It's very well paced. I will absolutely give you that it's very well paced. And James Gunn direction, I mean, it's jumping off the screen.
Star-Lord, man.
It's every character so likable. A lot of people have problems with Ronan as a villain.
Mm-hmm.
I do not. Here's my take on it. This movie does not need an interesting villain.
Right.
And I do think we are at a loss. We have not had a lot of just terrible guy, no compelling backstory, this guy just sucks villains. We haven't had too many of those lately. And Ronan is that. I will say you're gonna find this fascinating. Rachel, my girlfriend, Ronan is a top 5 MCU villain for her. She loves him. She thinks he's so scary. He is her favorite Guardians villain. She likes him more than the High Evolutionary and Ego.
Wow.
She thinks fully, and she'll argue with people about it. She thinks Ronan is in the conversation with Thanos and Loki. Which I think is obviously ridiculous and crazy.
I mean, he's got that one scary scene where he's like sacrificing that guy and the blood's running down or whatever. But other than that, he's just...
She just thinks he looks scary.
He does kind of look scary.
But yeah.
He's still second to Thanos. He's still bowing down to Thanos for most of the movie.
Yeah, but she loves him. So that's cool. I think is fascinating.
That is cool.
So my big issue with this movie, my biggest issue, every time I rewatch this movie, I like it less. Every time. And it's gotten to the point where I avoid rewatching it now, which is a real shame. But I don't know why, but I think the jokes are significantly worse on rewatch. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a surprise factor or this and that. My theater experience, watching this movie in the theater, when Groot is drinking...
that's exactly what I was thinking.
The fountain water?
Yeah.
That's probably the hardest I've ever laughed in a theater in my life.
You're so weird.
And then I rewatched it like as soon as it came on digital, and I didn't laugh at all. And I was like, what's going on? I was like preparing myself because I knew it was coming, and I didn't think it was funny. I was like, that's weird. And every time I rewatch it, I laugh less and less and less. So I'm going to try and avoid it for the next couple of years. I just watched it about 2 years ago. It was the last time I rewatched it. Because I've seen it about 8 or 9 times at this point. Hopefully I'll skip a couple years and I'll forget all of the jokes and then I'll rewatch it like it's my first time, and hopefully that's a better time. But that's my big issue with it, is I think for me it's my least favorite MCU movie to rewatch.
Yeah, I think, I disagree. Obviously, I think it's one of the most rewatchable movies for most people. Ragnarok gets rewatched a lot, obviously. It's so light. And Guardians is too. I don't have much more to say about it. Introduces Nebula, which is great.
I mean, it introduces all of them.
All of them, yeah.
Who was your favorite Guardian?
Star-Lord.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's great. Gamora's great in this movie.
And you get that's one of the only shirtless Chris Pratt scenes we get.
That's true. And this is the best Drax movie.
Yes.
This is where Drax is the best.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I don't like him nearly as much in Guardians 2.
Yeah.
And then I think he comes back a little bit in Guardians 3 and some other movies.
But he's more love in Guardians 3. But him throwing the ball at the little thing is hilarious, and then him knocking off the guy in the motorcycle is hilarious.
Yeah.
But just he's this kind of alien. Everything you say is gonna go over his head.
Nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast. I would catch it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Like every line from him is.
Man who has slept with a Viscarian. It was one time, man.
Why would I tickle his neck?
No. It needs to
and then he's like, you know, and like he's like, and then Drax looks at him. He's like,
no.
It's really funny. It's really, really, really funny. It's
definitely deserves the 9 out of 10.
Yes, of
classic.
And I mean,
would you put it top 10 superhero movies?
I don't think I have any problem with anybody putting it in their top 10. It's a dear friend of mine's favorite MCU movie, and I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah.
But for me, it's my least favorite MCU movie that I give a 9 out of 10 to.
Right. I think it'd be like superhero movies ever. I think it's right at the cusp of 10.
I think
it's
so
right
too.
in there. Yeah.
I think so too.
It might sneak in.
But like, are we considering animateds?
Yeah.
So
that might bump it up.
Both Spider-Verse, Dark Knight, Batman Begins, Red Hood,
Infinity War
is better. Winter Soldier's better. Avengers 1 is better.
Logan.
Yeah,
but then it's right there.
It's in that ballpark though. So yeah, it's really great. That's a very good question though. So yeah, I mean, we could talk about Guardians 1 forever. I mean, it's just John C. Reilly's great. Everybody gives a great performance.
They got my message.
That's really good. It's really good.
What's John C. Reilly's character's name?
Roman Day.
Yes. What's the name of the woman? Who's the leader? What's her
Nova
title?
Prime.
What's her actual name? It's Arani Rael, I think, or something like that.
Look at you.
Like that. What's the name of the ships that the Nova Corps uses? What are they called? Star Blasters.
I was gonna say stars.
You know where I learned that?
Where?
Guardians Ride.
Yeah.
Guardians Ride in Epcot.
You
All right.
read the thing. Obviously, Milano.
Yep. And then
What's the orange one?
do they have one in between
Yes.
Bowie?
Eesh.
I think they just remake the.
And it's still called the Milano?
It's like I don't know.
Okay, I don't know.
All right, ready? Time for another argument.
I think we're on the same page here.
Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
All right.
Avengers,
Age of Ultron out of 10.
3.
What's 10 in Spanish?
Yes.
10.
3.
Tres.
2.
Dos.
Tres.
Uno.
Dos. Uno. 6 out of
8.5.
10. Okay. We're not going to argue here, no?
Why?
It's the worst Avengers movie?
Yes, but barely.
What do you mean barely? You think Endgame is a little bit worse?
The only reason Endgame is better is because of the last 40 minutes. But Age of Ultron is better otherwise.
I think Age of Ultron is messier than Endgame, and Endgame has higher highs.
Endgame has higher highs, I think, messiness-wise.
I don't think Endgame is perfect. I'm a Endgame
I agree.
denier. I think Endgame's a 8 out of 10. I don't think it's anywhere close to top 5 MCU. I don't think I have it in my top 10.
Just because of what it is why it's good, and the assemble moment is why it is what it is. But
it's
in terms
a mess.
of a 3-hour
Age
mess,
of Ultron's a mess, brother.
A little
What
bit.
about the Thor Selvig subplot? What about, they all
Black
have to
Widow
find
and
the-
Hulk.
Yes,
Yeah, there's some stuff.
They have to set up Civil War in this movie. They have to set up the twins in this. Obviously, the twins
There's a lot. They did a lot in this movie.
get put into it.
I think there's just a lot of good.
Hawkeye's family. It's just a lot.
It is
just
a lot,
Too
but
much.
it's an Avengers
It's a
movie.
mess. But you're right.
It does not we go watch the first Avengers. We're gonna do that with the patrons in a week. No. Is that what they chose? Yeah, that's what they chose.
Great.
And that movie flows and it's not messy and everything works. And there's not
Exactly.
too much in it. So yeah, Age of Ultron, they put a lot in there and it's messy. It makes a little bit more sense because it is an Avengers movie and we're expanding and there's a lot going on. But it is messy and it's not perfect. It's kind of a TASM 2 situation where obviously TASM 2 is worse. Well, it's about the same. I just like it because this is one of the only times we get the Avengers as a fully fledged team working together.
Of course, and I think
And
that
that's
the
fun.
fight scenes are great, and I think Ultron gets a little bit too much hate.
Absolutely.
I think Ultron's a good villain.
What's his name?
James Spader. Yeah, he's great.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's
that
great.
scene is cold. I had to kill the other guy, and then when he busts through himself later, and I don't know why people hate on Ultron so much.
I think he's good.
He's not the best. He's definitely just not the worst.
I will say, I don't like the joke. Little smaller people, babies. I don't like that.
There are a couple times where they try to make him funny,
Don't. He's a robot.
right? But they had to give him a little personality because that's what Ultron's supposed to be, I guess. Is more than
He's
just
more of an android in the comics. He's more of like a straight lady. Now, not everything needs to be the comics.
Yeah.
One of the very next movies, Civil War, completely different from the comics, and I think it's the second best MCU movie. But yeah,
I think. So, what are your main problems with the movie?
messy.
Mess? Anything
Right,
else?
like in the middle section.
Something drip on you?
I think so.
That's unfortunate.
The middle of the movie is its messiest.
Mm-hmm.
I think the opening is great.
Yep.
I think everything until when they save Hulk from destroying everything. Like everything from the opening until Hulk's rage in Africa, and then they punch him, and then they have to go to the safe house. Everything until the safe house, I think is great. You get what I'm saying?
I kind of. And then they split off, and Thor goes to a Selvig thing, and
And that's
You
a
get-
lot and unnecessary. And then the Tony Cap argument is just setting up that there might be conflict in the future.
yeah, Nick Fury shows up too.
Nick Fury shows up and it's kind of weird. And then the the big one is I don't care at all for Bruce and
Nat's
Natasha's
relationship.
Just not even the whole relationship, because I think it's cute in the bar scene.
Yeah.
But I think it's like, you think you're the only monster on the team? I'm like, really?
It's cute.
What are we doing here?
I think
Because you don't have a vagina. Like, that's what we're talking about here.
Did they remove her vagina?
No, but they removed the shit that makes the vagina work or whatever.
Yeah, I think
Like, you're Scarlett Johansson. You're like the most beautiful woman. You think you're the only monster? He's a hideous green monster.
No, because she's talking about all the terrible things she used to do.
Yeah.
I think that those two characters, given who they like, a relationship between them would actually make sense.
No, it makes sense.
It just seems kind of shoehorned in a little bit, as does the Thor subplot. If you take those two things out, I think it cleans up a lot.
Yes, of course. A lot of the issues with this movie are solved if you get rid of those.
I think Vision is super cool.
Yes.
They also introduced Vision. I forget.
Yes, and he's great, and I love how he gets introduced because Tony's doing it again. He's doing it again. He's and another super bot and everything like that, and this and that and this and that, and then Thor steps in.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. I love that. I love how it gets created, and I love the hammer scene. Mm-hmm. I think the dinner party scene is a top 5 MCU scene. Mm-hmm. I know that you don't, but I
really love the dinner
party scene is so great.
Yeah.
And then I think the final battle isn't the best. I think it's probably the worst final battle in the MCU of the Avengers movies.
Yeah. But again, it's still...
But it's great. It's fun.
So great.
It's fun.
Hawkeye and Cap.
I just
if you get killed, walk it off.
The Avengers 1 final battle is just leagues better.
I mean, it's one of my favorite things ever, obviously. So problems, other than the messiness, one of my pet peeves with the MCU in general and in this movie, after the first 20 minutes, I mean, you get the Hulkbuster scene, but Hulk doesn't do anything in like the last final battle. Like, you almost see him do nothing.
Even though she pushes him.
Yeah, she pushes him, and you're expecting him to come and do some awesome stuff, and then you see him...
He just does the jet, and then he flies away.
Right, and in the jet is Ultron, and Ultron reacts to Hulk being there. He's like, oh no, and then it cuts away.
Yeah.
So, I just think the MCU did Hulk a little bit dirty. But I love the Hulkbuster. The Hulkbuster fight is... I don't know where to rank it in MCU fight scenes in general, but it's up there. I think the Hulkbuster...
I love when the thing goes around his arm.
Yeah.
I love
the Hulkbuster scene is so cool. Veronica is so cool. I'm sorry. Hilarious.
Yes. Yeah, it's got comedy.
Yeah. I think the villain is good, and just seeing the Avengers together is good. It's messy, yes, but it's still an 8.5.
For sure. But again, that's the thing, right? It's just not the best thing in the world. But see, we agreed mostly on that. You thought did you think I was going to hate on Ultron?
I thought you were going to go sub 5 for sure.
No.
Most people do. They put it like bottom
but they're
5.
wrong.
Yeah,
they're wrong. Ultron's good.
Last one.
One last thing I want to talk about Ultron.
Sure.
My favorite scene in that movie is the dinner party. Mm-hmm. My second favorite scene is Pietro dying. I know a lot of people don't like it. I know a lot of people are like, you just brought him in to kill him. They don't love that representation of Pietro, obviously. It's not nearly as good as the Evan Peters X-Men one. But Wanda's reaction is so fucking
just
good.
Disintegrates everything around her.
Amazing.
So cool.
And then her finding Ultron in the train.
And taking his heart out.
What it felt like.
Good stuff.
She's so good.
She's good.
Elizabeth Olsen, man. Keep her forever.
Yeah.
You hear that she might not be coming back?
No.
I would be sad.
But she's dead anyways. We still rolling?
All right. Last one?
We still rolling?
Oh. Yep.
Last one.
What are we at time?
We're good. All right. We've been talking about Phase 2 for a while.
Saved the best for last. Just kidding.
Ant-Man.
I scared you, didn't I?
Ant-Man.
I'm dying to see what you gave this. 3, 2, 1.
8.
7 out of 10.
Okay.
You think that Ant-Man is worse than Ultron?
I gave them the same score, actually. I changed it at the last second, but I think they're about the same.
I think Ant-Man is clearly better.
Probably.
Ant-Man
It's not.
great.
It's not as much of a mess,
No, it's not a mess at all.
but it's also just not an Avengers movie.
That's fine. I will say I do have problems with Ant-Man. It's not a perfect movie. I wish it was just a heist.
But the heist part is so fun.
I know.
It's one of my favorite things in the MCU. It's the whole heist part.
I know, but unfortunately, the heist goes wrong, and then it's not a heist movie, and it's just another big CGI battle at the end. Just the
I don't understand.
The only issue, the only thing is that this is one of the cooler CGI battles at the end because they're little. But I'm exhausted. At this point in phase 2, I'm already exhausted of a big CGI battle. Because let's go through the MCU.
Do you not understand what superhero movies are, or like what big movies lead to?
Let's go through the MCU. Iron Man 1. Big CGI battle at the end.
It's a superhero movie.
Incredible Hulk.
I don't understand
Big CGI battle
This
at
is
the end.
continually one of your points of disliking a movie when it's a superhero movie that leads to two people fighting.
What's the best superhero movie of all time?
Dark Knight. Across the Spider-Verse. Across the
Either
Spider-Verse
of
is
those-
animated.
Yeah. But do either of those have a big, stupid CGI battle at the end?
Avengers is a great movie. Infinity War is a great movie.
Okay.
They have CGI battles.
Avengers, big CGI battle, but it's good. Right?
So is Shang-Chi.
Because that movie leads to it, and it makes sense. Shang-Chi does not act like it's leading you to a big CGI battle. Same thing with...
Yes, it does.
No.
Yes, it does.
No.
Yes, it does.
No.
You continually
No.
act like this. You continually act like this.
No.
That's like saying that they shouldn't fight the Leviathans and the Hulk punch scene is dumb because they didn't lead to the Leviathan. They led to Loki.
Wrong.
Loki can release other things.
Wrong.
Shang-Chi's dad, Wenwu, released the dragon. Loki released the Leviathan. Why can't we fight him?
Because you're dealing with this...
The ramifications of the bad guy doing something. You're absolutely right in both movies.
We got to talk about Ant-Man, because I don't want to deal with you. You're wrong, and you know you're wrong. You're just speaking loudly to the...
No, I just made a great point.
That's not a good point.
And I will unless there is a good reason for the complaint about the CGI battle, I will refuse to accept that complaint anymore. It's a dumb complaint.
It's a perfectly
If the
fair
CGI
complaint.
looks bad, or if there's some reason
The
why the
CGI
battle
does
shouldn't-
look bad. The CGI in Shang-Chi is some of the worst CGI in the
No,
MCU.
incorrect.
The dragons look terrible.
Incorrect.
Shang-Chi looks like a rubber man.
Incorrect.
Ant-Man CGI is pretty good. The train. The Thomas the Train.
One of the funnier MCU movies as well. Paul Rudd is amazing.
Paul Rudd is amazing. Michael Pena.
Oh.
May he rest in peace. What a loss. Not in real life to the MCU. The fact that he's not in Ant-Man 3 is just
Yeah, well, they might
ridiculous.
bring him back. We never
They
know.
better. He's so good.
He kills.
He's he's better in the second one.
That's one of the. I don't necessarily agree with that, but that's one of the most charming things about Ant-Man 1 and 2 is his three friends.
Yes, and then they cut them in Ant-Man 3.
And when he disappears, and what's his name, the French one, his reaction to that.
Is he French?
What is he?
I think he's Russian.
Russian.
It's Dasta Malshan.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
And T.I. is great.
Yeah.
T.I. is so good. T.I. is so likable. When they're in the van outside and they're like, oh, shit, like all of it is so good. They're so likable. It's so funny. And obviously the Louis stories are just incredible. Some of the best scenes
What's
in the
happening
MCU.
here? She just grabbed me and kissed me. I don't know what she's thinking. I laughed so hard at that when I first saw it.
Yes, it's so good. Ugh.
Another
And
example,
Michael Douglas
yeah.
is so likable.
Another example of like a movie where like people were like, "Who is this character?" That Ant-Man, really? And you come out loving it.
He's an original Avenger, so.
Yeah, but he's not Superman. He's not Spider-Man. He's not Iron Man. Like Hulk, Captain America, they're all much more like. No one's being like Ant-Man's my favorite superhero. You can see that for Cap, Iron Man, Hulk.
Do you know about the Edgar Wright controversy?
No.
Do you know who Edgar Wright is?
Yeah.
Director? Mm-hmm. What movies do you know by Edgar Wright?
I just know the name.
Okay, he did Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which is a movie I'm not a big fan of, unfortunately. But he did the Cornetto trilogy, which is Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End, which obviously I rave about all the time. He also did Baby Driver.
Oh yeah, I did know that.
He did that movie Last Night in Soho from a couple years ago, which I heard was terrible.
I liked it.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't think you'd like it as much as me. I think you'd say it's all right.
A dear friend of mine said it was the worst movie he's ever seen in his life.
That's ridiculous.
But Edgar Wright is a great filmmaker. Edgar Wright, his whole career, said, I want to do an Ant-Man movie. And so when the MCU's coming out, they're going to do an Ant-Man movie. They decided on him to direct it. And he's the one that chose Paul Rudd. He wrote a lot of the script. And they kept changing things. And he was like, fuck you, I quit. And that's why Peyton Reed directed it.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Wish we would have seen Edgar Wright's, because to my knowledge, all of the stuff we like is Edgar Wright. And that's why Ant-Man 2 and especially Ant-Man 3 are so much worse than Ant-Man 1.
Interesting.
So I would do, that's a what if. I wish we would have gotten an Edgar Wright Ant-Man movie. I think would have been cool.
Cool. You want to rank them? You want me to go through my ranking?
Yes, please.
All right, so here's my ranking of Phase 2 of the MCU.
Are we going to have very similar rankings?
I think so. At the top, obviously, we're going Winter Soldier. Then we're going Guardians of the Galaxy. And then an upset pick for a lot of people, we're going Age of Ultron, and then Ant-Man. I think most of this,
and then,
you might switch one or two of these, but most of these are correct.
Yeah.
And then the last two, I'm putting Thor: The Dark World barely over Iron Man 3. So Winter Soldier, Guardians, Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, Dark World, Iron Man 3. That's my ranking.
I mean, we've got very similar lists. We just flipped two, right? I've obviously got Winter Soldier at 1, got Guardians at 2. I've got Ant-Man at 3.
Fair.
I've got Age of Ultron at 4, though.
Yep.
And then I've got Iron Man 3 at 5, and I've got Dark World at 6.
Totally fine.
Very similar. Similar lists.
I love it.
Yeah. This is,
Fine with me.
That was the first phase of the MCU where it was like, oh, they really know what the hell they're doing.
That's what we call a dumb statement.